Selena buff, Bruno Nerf, and carry deals more damage. Hey guys, what's up? Today we've got another update on Advanced Server. First on our list is the nerf on Bruno. His basic attack range is now smaller, from 5.1 down to 4.9. When we compare it to official server, we can only see a small change. It's almost hard to notice, right? The good news is that he can still hit towers out of the range when using Malefic Gun. But the nerf is not over yet because his attack speed ratio is also lowered from 80 down to 60%. What this means is that he will gain less attack speed stats from items and emblems. On official server, this is what he gets when adding Windtalker and has his claws. But when we do the same on advanced server, he only gets this amount of attack speed. So yeah, expect a slower Bruno after this patch. But I think this is well deserved because of how strong he is on the current meta. Moving on, we have the buff on Selena. Using her second skill in abyssal form will now grant her shield every time. This shield cannot stack, but it replenishes every time you dash. So if you take damage on the first dash, you can generate another one on the next dash. This will enable you to do many low HP outplays, perfect for TikTok. Watch here as I take damage on each dash, and with the new feature, I can replenish it easily. To balance, the devs had to remove the shield when activating her first skill. Another buff is her basic attacks during her abyssal form. It now has 40 points of base damage, making her abyssal form even deadlier. And then there's also the higher damage against minions and jungle creeps when activating the passive marks. Basically faster clearing for Selena, whether she's a mid lane mage or jungler. The developer said this was made to improve her effectiveness as a mid laner and jungler. Lastly, there's the reduced force swing on her first skill. If you noticed, she can now move faster after planting her traps. So yeah, hopefully she becomes meta again after this patch. Next, we have the buff on Lancelot. His second skill now has a higher base damage. However, this was balanced with a lower attack scaling. The developer said this update aims to improve his early to mid-game damage and make him a stronger counter among assassins. Carry is up next with a buff. They've added 25 points of base damage to her basic attacks each time the ultimate is active. This should give her more shredding power, especially in the early and mid-game stages. Irrital is up next with higher base damage on her ultimate. That's a plus 70 base damage at max level, which aims to improve her mid-game damage. To balance, the devs had to lower her attack scaling, which will slightly weaken her late game. Sun's ultimate is now shorter by 4 seconds. Good news? Well, not really, because it's now the same with the official server. Alard is up next, and his passive basic attacks now has 80 points of base damage. But in exchange, his attack scaling is lowered by 20%. This will improve his early game damage, but weaken his late. Another adjustment is his first skill with a lower cooldown of 1 second. To balance, they've added 1 frame to the skill backswing. If you notice, there's now a short delay before the basic attack. Another adjustment is his ultimate. It now gives double hybrid defense when you hit an enemy hero. However, it can no longer stack when you hit several heroes. On the current version, you can stack for up to 100 hybrid defense when you hit multiple enemies. But now it's a fixed 40 hybrid defense regardless of how many enemies you hit. So yeah, no more 1 versus 5 with Alard. But that's not all, because they've also lowered his hybrid lifesteal in the late game by 10%. I think Alard will still be decent after this update. His tank here on a 1 versus 1 fight, and if you still need defense, you can always rely on Thunderbelt. It's a great complement to his enhanced basic attacks. Dirot can now apply the second phase of his second skill on minions and summoned units. This should give him more options when trying to escape. CC gets nerfed with a lower base physical attack. That's a minus 29 points at the start of the game. The developer said her performance has exceeded their expectations because of the recent buff. Alice's second skill will now deal HP base damage if you cast it at full stacks. Here's a comparison of its damage. As you can see, the damage is higher with a full stack. This effect can reach up to 6% of the target's max HP. To balance, the second skill will have a lower base damage. This gives him a fighting chance against those tanky lineups we see right now. Moving on, we have Zilong, and his attack speed during his ultimate is slightly reverted. Compared to official server, this one is still a nerf. I think this is in line with the adjustment on the item Rose Gold Meteor. Next, we have 2 upcoming battlefield effect tests. First is the Elemental Eye, which will give you buffs. and a small chance to get significant attribute bonuses. Everlasting Turtle will make the turtle appear continuously throughout the game, even after the 8-minute mark. Next is the cancelled bush adjustments. They've cancelled it, which means no changes on the bush on the next patch update. Bad news for our squishy gold laners. Last one is the adjustment on Rose Gold Meteor. The 20% attack speed is back, but its attack stat is lowered by 10 points. Remember, this item will give you hybrid defense for every lifesteal stat you have. And that's it for our weekly advanced server update. What can you say about the Selena update? Is the nerf on Bruno enough? Share your thoughts in the comment section. That's all for this video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.